Hey guys, it's Adventure. Welcome back to the channel. And today we're at Meiringen Military Base here in Switzerland with the SC Designs F5 Tiger. Now this aircraft, of course, originally built by Northrop as the F5, is a family of supersonic light fighter aircraft initially designed as a privately funded project in the 50s by the Northrop Corporation. Now, there were two models, the F5A and the F5B Freedom Fighter, and the extensively upgraded E and F models of Tiger and Tiger II. Now, of course, this aircraft basically was designed around two of the General Electric J85 engines, two small ones, and it was smaller and simpler than things like the F4, which at the time was a mainstay fighter. Now, it cost less to procure and operate and much easier to train, making it a very popular export aircraft. So it was mainly designed for a daytime air superiority role. It could do ground attack. Of course, it entered the service in the early 60s and during the Cold War over 800 built through to about 1972 for American allies. And I believe in total, and they are still in service, we have 1,200 A through D models and 1,400 E through F models, including, of course, the T-38 Talon was developed from this, which is a current trainer, I believe, in some cases. Canadair's TF5 and the Sonic Boom demonstration model as well. There you go. And it was also developed into the F-20 Tiger Shark. So we'll have quick specifications. This aircraft has a max speed of Mach 1.63. So we are talking many speeds. Cruise speed of about 0.98, so it can cruise just subsonic. Stall speed of 154 knots. VNE of 710. Range is 481 nautical miles. Clean. And a combat radius with a 20 mil reserve is 120 nautical miles. Ferry range can be up to 2,000 with tanks. And this can take 3. A centerline and 2 wing tanks. So the aircraft's takeoff landing is about 3,700 for takeoff or landing. Takeoff is 2,900. So we've got some good varieties here. Using the braking chute, we can get it down to 2,500 for landing. It's quite cool to know. Armament-wise, two 20mm guns in the nose. We have 7 hard points on there for rockets, missiles, bombs, both dumb and smart. Now this is by, as we said, SC Designs or DC Designs. It's hard to tell. The manual's file name is DC Designs. The name is SC Designs. Just like have it for £17, £18. Same price in the marketplace, so you can get it there too. And it is a non-study level model, meaning this is kind of surface level simulation. Now we did have recently one also released for us, of course, so we have that in our repertoire of aircraft we've seen. We will be, I suppose, comparing this one to that one. Comparing? I meant comparing, of course, because when you have a second model of the same type, it's really worth commenting or comparing to see exactly what it is, and that's the Demios model. Now that had an updated course, and it's not exactly system steps either, so we'll compare and contrast these. So let's take a dive into the aircraft. We'll take a bit of a look around. Okay, so we're outside the aircraft. We'll quickly set our camera down here. Now, I said we're flying the Swiss model today, and you know what we'll do before we go any further? We'll put some payload on this girl, shall we? So let's go up to here. Payload is managed through this system here, so 190, 190. Put some GPUs on. Not £3,500, that would be terrible. And we'll... What's this? We'll take off the centerline tank. And instead we'll put on, and just fill these up and they appear, the wing tanks. And if we go back inside the cockpit really quickly, I believe we could toggle the chocks with one of these. There we go, chocks on. They're not on. Do I have to enable parking brake? No. All electronics and batteries off. Chocks appear. Okay, so that's simple for us. We'll pop the canopy as well. And we'll get back outside. Nice and simple. So there's our 20mm rotating revolving cannons in the nose there. Intake blocks as well. Quite a low down aircraft, so easy to get in and out of. As you see, we've got the wing hard points there. 1, 2, 3 on each wing, including the tip, plus the centerline hard point there. I mean, detailing is good, but texturing is not very good, because for a missile, that's not particularly interesting to look at. Textures on the wing surface is not particularly good either. It's reminding me a lot of the SC Phantom, or the DC Phantom, I should say, in that the texturing on the surface is really not fantastic. And I've seen way better for this price point. For the 20-ish, 15 to 20 price range, we've seen considerably better. And this is in consistency with other SC and DC design projects in terms of how they look, which is not amazing, but also not terrible. They also have a habit of looking very matte. No real metallic appearance to the surface. Now, this is, of course, a matte livery, so that will apply to that. Now, cockpit-wise, really not that bad. Compared to Demios, I'd say this is definitely nicer looking interior inside. But in general, very similar. The F5 hasn't got a ton to mess with. The canopy detailing is much nicer, I think, than the F5 from Demios. That's one thing that bugged me with that one. Although here you can see edge texture just rippling over this edge line here, causing weirdness, like that seam. It just looks unpleasant. Not a big fan. Alright, let's get this thing started up and take it for a run. Of course, there's numerous things that you can and can't do. Lots you can't click, lots that will do exactly nothing in the aircraft. So, batteries are on. We'll make sure our gyro switch is on. Move our DC power to fully on here. Generators are set to on as they should be. That's weird. I turn the avionics on and that thing goes from one screen to a different one entirely. Not no screen, but it changes screen entirely. Is it using the avionics tab to actually change what this is doing? That is curious. Okay. So let's make sure we have this set to reset the normal on the CADC. That is. Excellent. Canopy is going to be open at this time. Oxygen system will need to go on. Come on, there we go. Scroll wheel your ass the whole way. Rather than just a click, it's a scroll wheel. Oxygen is on. Test is just off. Emergency and off. Okay, we're good there. Panel lighting we'll check in a second. We'll get it started first though. So starting will be ignitions to on for left and right. Open the covers here, the fuel shutoffs. These are our masters, so we'll go to here. Start. Engine 1's going to go. We'll wait for 50% on our RPM, then we'll go check engine 2. Of course, the exhaust stuff has come off this aircraft. Nice and simple. Coming up. Everything looking good. Gun sight is operational. It's not a HUD. It's just a gun sight. So, of course, we can just turn it on. Nice and simple. Simple reflector gun sight. Okay, coming up on 50. Starting engine 2. Did I press start? Yes, I did now. Wonderful. Doesn't seem to do anything necessarily there. Weapon functions here. Really not simulated that extensively. Okay, that's up and running, so we'll go to on there. And just going to spool up while we do this, so we'll get the canopy closed here. Okay, so we do have a tail hook there, and it's useful this F4 actually has got arrestor wires, not that it'll actually work right now. So these are our weapon positions here. We can switch to safe, we can switch to different stations. It's all very much click it to play, so you can actually click it because they are just that, just clickable. Nothing particularly more exciting than that. It doesn't do anything, unfortunately. Jettison, we'll test that once we're airborne and see if they come off. So we'll leave that for the time being. That's our jettison handle. Okay, so everything's started up here. We'll get ourselves ready to taxi. Now, we did notice the other one had not got much pitch authority. We'll see what this one's like, shall we? Okay. Parking brake release. That's going to assume you have to do any keyboard. There is no actual cockpit parking brake. Oh, let's turn my head on here. Meiringen in Switzerland is a beautiful base. Of course, they did actually have F5s. And there's one over by the tower. It looks very much like the one we're in now. One notch flaps to take off. Weird lighting there on the edge of the board, the panel, sorry, which is weird because it's under the cover here, under the glare shield, and you can see it there too, where you can see a gap. Oh, look at that seam. You can see right out the front of the cockpit. Yeah, you can see right through it. That's not good. Could be better. Okay, let's just mess with the lights whilst we're here before we take off, because I won't be doing it once we're airborne. Ooh, it's very green. I do like that. Quite green. Not particularly special green. It's not like it's showing the actual lights that's illuminating stuff. It's just everything has become green. So we just have a green glow. And the compass light doesn't actually seem to affect anything that I can see. And the panel light is just actually the glare, the actual instrument lighting. Okay, so nothing to write home about with the night lighting. Back to daytime. So whilst the modelling I think is a little better than the Demios, some of the texturing is nothing to write home about. At least that's the way I'd phrase this. We go, heads in the right position now. Right, let's get ourselves onto the runway here and get ourselves out and do some flying around. There's the arrestor wire, technically. Don't think it'll work on this, but hey, it's there in the scenery. Okay, full thrust. I think we're on burner here. We are indeed on afterburner. Speed is coming up. Okay, looking good. I'm going to ease back. I'm going to come clear the runway. We're pretty heavy right now. Also, whoa, that's rolly. Okay. That is very rolly. Wow. Gears coming up. Very simple gear animation, of course, in this aircraft. Yep, nice and simple F5 gear. And up we go. This being some of the gunnery ranges the Swiss use, of course, over here to the north. We'll do a quick look around and we'll bring her back down again and we will land. Very, very rolly. Gotta say, very rolly. Aerobatic roll rates in this thing, but it has got quite... Jesus, overcorrects. Very tiny wings, of course. So that's possibly a factor. Oh, pop over to the cloud here. Pitch. Oh, it's starting to G-stall there. I don't like this. I'm in terrain with zero visibility out the window. There we are. So very rolly. Pitch is quite stiff in comparison. The roll rate is insanity. Yaw is as expected. Terrain to our side there. You guys on that? Okay. Now I'm going to try and jettison these stores, see if we get anything here. Nope. Nothing comes off. So let's get rid of these and see if there's a difference in our weight here. In terms of how this behaves. So now we are stripped down to just, apparently, half a missile. That's odd. What is that? Because that's not a missile, but that's on our rail. Oh, it's the ACM. Okay. It's not. Odd. I'm not sure what that is, but it's taken over from where the AIM-9 was. Right, let's bring this down. Now, roll rate is still very, very dramatic. Oh, I just stalled that from trying to bank around with low thrust. This thing G-stalls very quickly. I think that's the valley we need to head down there. It is. We'll set up for a long, straightened approach here. Doesn't want to turn tightly at all. Which for a gunfighting interceptor, not a good idea. Meridian should be ahead of us here. It is. Runway in sight. Now we could do a standard brake over the runway, but there's not enough room here. We'll do it and we'll see what happens. So we'll fly runway heading, we'll do our brake downwind. So we'll fly centerline at 350. We'll brake to 200 for the downwind. The 4G brake, if there's enough room for that even. So we'll fly off the centerline to the right of the valley. Set this up correctly. This is so unstable in the roll. If this is accurate to an F5, awesome. But it's so... I'm trying to keep my yoke steady here. But it feels like I'm flying a DCS aircraft. It's just super twitchy. But the roll is unpleasantly twitchy. Drop down here a bit more. I don't know if we have room here for a 4G brake to downwind. There's not a lot of room here. Okay, here we go. Cockpit does feel quite wide too, that's another thing. Very wide. There's our runway. Right, we'll try for this brake, shall we? There's a little bit of room here just to widen this up slightly. Okay, we're losing airspeed as we do this. It's warning us. Okay. And we're about 200 for our downwind. Perfect. Gear down. Flaps to full according to the manual. We'll fly over this terrain to our right. We'll come around from where we're heading here. Power on to maintain. We're looking for 170 for final. So we'll apply more power here to get 200. Runway's there. We'll start descending here. It's it's still very rolly even with flaps. It's like the flaps don't seem to do anything to its ability to roll. Like it doesn't dull the roll. Flaps out should dull your roll in most aircraft. Not in this, which is very weird. Right. Little bit overextended here because my first landing. So we'll overextend here just so I got some room to stabilize for final. Okay. Descending Turn. Runway threshold in sight. We're slow. Power on. I'm too low now. And it's wanting to stall, so I'm going to ease off. It does not like these conditions. Nope, this is not going good. The gear coming up, flaps coming up. I'm aborting this. I can't turn it tight enough in this valley. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come around, I'm going to line up a bit further back. We'll come in for that approach. Just like we did earlier, but just a little wider and a bit straighter here. Because I suspect they'll come down the valley and just make a straight approach into something like this. It's too tight to mess with normal kind of pattern procedures. We tried to go for that. I just don't think it wants to, given the conditions. There we go. Nose down here. We'll come over this crest ahead of us, and we'll just do a circle back in. Should give us enough room. Absolutely stunning scenery up here. Love flying in Switzerland. And Austria. Both beautiful. Now we'll slow to 200. And we'll do that with our braking turn around here. As we come through 200 knots, down go the gear. The twitchiness in the roll is really offsetting. Off-putting even, that's the right word I'm looking for. Flaps are going out. Now I'm going to just let the nose drop here. So rolly. Nose down. Okay, we're coming round to threshold. Heading. Power on to maintain our approach. So rolly. There we go. We're already offline, I think. This is a little steep, but YOLO, as the kids would say. They don't even say YOLO anymore. That was my generation. God, I have a generation. Now I feel old. I hate myself. So a little fast, about 30 knots fast. We've got lots of runway here, though. I'd rather land faster than too slow. And we have the drag chute, so we'll use that. Ooh, a bit hefty. No drag chute. Oh, there's a drag chute. Well, it came out eventually. Said the Republican politician. Anyway. Okay, so let's put ourselves off the runway here. It's so weird in the roll. Like, I found the Demios one much easier to fly. Much easier to fly. Much more predictable. It had less authority in the pitch, but its roll at least didn't feel so surreal. The roll attitude on this aircraft feels odd. I've never flown anything this sensitive. It's so twitchy. It's unbelievable. I don't like it, actually. It's just odd. Incredibly twitchy. And texture-wise, kind of a bit of a letdown, honestly. Demios one, I think, was better looking on the exterior. This is better looking interior. This one flies weird. Which is the best way I can describe it. It flies weird. It's super twitchy. And yeah. It really will affect how confident you feel in turning and cranking and banking the aircraft, and for what was essentially reportedly decent gunfighter. I wouldn't want to try and dogfight in this thing, because at fighting speeds, 200 knots, it will G-stall with any reasonable turn. So, yeah. Here we are, arriving back, and we should be able to see the F5 that's at the gate here. There she is. This is probably a vehicle path, but I don't care. We're going to drive in here. Oh, knocking my microphone with everything. Don't mind me, just going through a level crossing. Hi, friend! Perfect parking, I think, there. Right next to the Swiss one. 38, this is 3031. Cool. Well, you have my thoughts. For the price, I'd honestly say Demios right now is genuinely a better aircraft. Although, the cockpit is better in this one. The exterior is better on their one. Flight modelling is kind of toss-up between the both of them. Neither's great, in my opinion. My opinion isn't perfect, but it's what you've got. Thanks for watching. Bye.